incomprehensible that they could exist right now.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! It was like a big rainbow, boom! It was coming up, boom, boom, and I was like, yeah!
Hey, let me ask you a question. Honestly, why are you trying to kill me, man?
Get ready. Come on, you want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? They call me
Oh my God, he just ran in.
Holy cannoli! It's my favorite talk show, Lee. The Overdose Talk Show!
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
What's the date?
It is 12/10/2017.
And this is the Overdose Talk Show. Tonight, we've got the video of Hannibal Buress being arrested. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at the Ralph Shortey video, right?
Yeah, he was a good one.
Shoddy.
We've got a whole bunch of stuff to look at tonight, and we've also got a guest on the show later, Catherine Nieves, who's been on the show before.
Oh yeah, she's Kratom.
Yes, she's talking about Kratom, another plant that the DEA is attempting to ban. So we're gonna get into that later. What's been going on with you guys? Everything good?
Everything's
Everything
great.
all right?
All I've had to eat for 5 days is raw fruits and vegetables.
And what would motivate you to do such a thing?
I feel like shit all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
You do get sick a lot for a person who doesn't live a particularly unhealthy lifestyle.
Right. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But I feel a lot better now. I was seriously just like uncomfortable all the time. And the biggest difference is I'm sleeping well. I didn't realize I wasn't sleeping well because I was just not comfortable.
Would you say things are going smoothly?
Yes. I'm shitting constantly.
Is that what I was going to ask?
That's what it's all about.
It's
Well, that's
like
good, though.
It's like a nonstop stream.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's good. I feel like I'm ridding my body of horror.
People
horrific
complain
things.
about that, about loose stools and diarrhea. I'm fine with it.
Get it out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I always say.
I mean, it really is more satisfying that way, isn't it? Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Diarrhea would be fine, yeah, if it wasn't for the dehydration.
Right.
I'd be
Right.
totally into it.
Yeah, well, if you eat enough fruits and vegetables, you don't have to worry about it.
Should we respond to a comment from... Don't put it up yet. Let's respond to a comment from the last show. I think this should be addressed. Oh, what the fuck did I just do?
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Got it.
Ah.
Boom. Look at this shit. You ready? I'll read it to you. This is from the Zen Master. Where is this? There we go. Smooth start here.
Yeah. Ah.
The Zen Master says... Oops. I would ask if you've ever left America, but I'm guessing none of you have ever left your state.
I
about-
don't want to confirm nor deny that.
No, yeah. Who's never left their state before? First
Yeah.
of all,
Like our state of mind?
second of all,
What are you talking about?
second of all, I don't know what it was about the last show that made him think that.
I wish he had been more specific. Yeah, that's what I keep thinking. Because
think we've
I'm
all
sure
left the
I
country.
have a rebuttal.
Haven't we? Technically,
Yeah, technically, yeah.
have you been to Mexico?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
I went to Ireland once.
Oh, yeah,
David
I've
Fox,
heard
you've
about
been
that.
around a little bit, right?
Yeah, I was on a Carnival cruise ship, you know, where you get a whole lot of cool, you know,
Okay.
Culture.
insights into
Yeah.
culture.
You know
yeah.
what? Maybe he's right, but but so what?
Regardless.
We're not, but we've traveled this country
Yep.
as well. And you know what? I was looking things up earlier, and you know, the distance that I've traveled a million times from Chicago to New Orleans, that's the difference from like Paris to Rome. You know,
Wow.
it's maybe even a little bit further, actually. You know, if you've traveled this country extensively, you've seen 55, 60 different cultures all over the fucking place, you know.
Easily, yeah.
It's an average of 1.08 per state, apparently. But yeah, no, it's
pretty good.
Yeah, if you've been around this country a lot, and what's the point anyways? Do you ask, like, if you're like some world traveled Zen master, do you go around to, like, you know, impoverished villages in India, like, have you ever traveled the world? Yeah. By the way, I'm a Zen master that just antagonizes people on a website. I'm very sophisticated.
What do you think of my high horse?
Like, if
I'll
everybody
ride it off into the sunset.
if everybody had traveled the world, what would be the point of traveling anywhere? If you think that traveling is valuable, which it is, then you have to appreciate the fact that a lot of people don't leave where the fuck they're from, and that's what makes a culture. You know, like, if everybody had just been everywhere, it would be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why he's the Zen master.
I guess.
It's just
He
way
sees
over our
something
heads.
bigger than us, yeah.
I'd love it if he would elaborate a little or explain to us
Yeah.
dum-dums.
Zen master, we're so dumb. We don't know what you mean.
The Zen master's a douche. He's a fucking asshole.
Douche master.
Yeah. This picture is Archer. Anyways.
All right.
Let's take a look at this shooting that everybody's been talking about. An ex-cop from Arizona acquitted for shooting an unarmed, sobbing man.
Cop's name was Philip Mitch Brailsford, and this was in Mesa.
This was a big story at the time, wasn't this the guy that, like, notched his rifle for his shootings and shit?
Yeah,
And
he had
was
all
just
sorts of stupid, creepy stuff.
He was just generally just an unlikable character.
Yeah.
You know?
A psycho. Mm-hmm. We'll call him a psycho.
He looks like a nerdlinger, too.
He looks like,
that's what's so creepy about him.
he looks like he should be in an emo band.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
Or,
Do we have a picture of him
like
somewhere?
wearing a
I don't see one
plaid
here.
suit that's like a tiny bit too small.
We'll see one. Yeah.
Yeah, he shows up.
So let's take a look at this real quick. Warning, explicit content.
Yeah, you've been warned.
Oh, let me get the audio up. Oh, I still got that. That fucking doesn't go together. We should probably turn that off.
That was good. I wonder if that would change the way I feel about it.
Yeah. That's one of the tricks.
Apparently we have a failure for you to comprehend simple instructions. I'm going to go over some of them again, okay? Can you both hear and understand me?
Yes.
All right. If you make a mistake, another mistake, there's a very severe possibility you're both going to get shot. Do you understand? Yes.
So he's already kind of like, you can tell he's a psycho, kind of.
He's a psycho.
You know,
I
relishing this whole thing.
I love how that woman said yes, though. Did you hear her?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. If you see, well, they're drunk.
Yeah.
You know, if you see when they first come out, they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
I'll back it up, see.
Stop right there!
Fuck,
Stop!
sorry.
Stop! Get on the ground!
Fix
both of
that.
you. Lay down on the ground! Lay down on the ground!
So weird.
So anyways, let's go forward in this, what was happening here is this guy who's on the ground was like an exterminator, right? And he had a pellet gun or something that he uses in his whatever, I guess.
Pest control.
In his pest duties.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he was, I guess, they were drinking and he was showing it to somebody, and who knows if they were playing around with it or whatever. But the somebody down at the pool looks up and sees somebody in a window with a rifle, they think. And so they call the cops, and they come, and this is now the result of that.
Yeah.
After the, I guess,
U of A.
they called the hotel,
For one thing,
or the hotel called the room to have him come out. These cops are like,
put both your hands.
If they know we're here,
Put
they'll
both your
kill
hands
us.
on
Yeah.
the top of your head and interlace your fingers. Take your feet and cross your left foot over your right foot.
dude, these instructions
Who
are
else is in the
fucking,
room? Nobody.
they just get more and more bizarre as it goes on. Like, whatever happened to just, like, put your hands up,
Stand
walk
against the wall.
walk back to me,
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, well, yeah, like the 1930s style, like, up against the wall, see?
Yeah.
Both strong.
I guess that would be the bad guy talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did the G-men sound like? That's what they called them.
I don't know what they sounded like.
feds.
Like that, though, yeah.
You know, I kind of think someone could make the argument that if they suspect there's another shooter in the room, that they can't do that normal procedure where where the cops approach you when you're already on the ground because maybe there's a gunman around the corner.
Yeah.
Not that I side with the cop here, but I wonder if there is like some protocol that they're supposed to follow for their own safety that this guy thought he was doing here.
What about like
whatever.
walk backwards? That's a big one. That brings them to you without going
Yeah,
there.
I mean, this whole thing was very bizarre.
And
You'll see.
where it goes, I kind of throws all of that out of the
We are
window.
going
Yeah.
to deal with it, and you may not survive it. Do you understand me?
He's telling him what happens if he doesn't follow
Young
his
lady,
directions.
shut up and listen.
By the way, the call was for a guy with a rifle.
You are to keep your feet crossed.
Like, do they think this guy's hiding
Both
a
of your
rifle?
hands,
Right.
put them
I
flat
mean-
in front of you. You are to push yourself up to a kneeling position.
So this is the girl. You can't really see her, but she's gonna do basically what he says. They're gonna take her into custody, as they
Like
say.
he hasn't moved a single
Okay, I need
muscle.
one more cup rope.
No, but
Man, listen to my instructions and do not make a mistake. You are to keep your legs crossed. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. You are to put both of your hands palms down, straight out in front of you. Push yourself up to a kneeling position. I said, keep your legs crossed.
how are you supposed to do that?
No,
Like,
you're not.
Yeah.
I didn't say this in conversation. Put your hands! Hands up in the air!
Didn't you first tell him not to bring his hands up, or?
Yeah.
So this guy's,
He just said, "Do not shoot me."
yeah, this guy's just drunk and confused.
Hands straight up in the air. Do not put your hands down for any reason. You think you're gonna fall, you better fall on your face. Your hands go back in the small of your back or down. We are going to shoot you. Do you understand me?
This guy really seems like he wants
God.
to shoot him.
Yeah.
Crawl towards me!
So he told him not to put his hands down for any reason. Oh my God.
The guy did reach.
Yeah, I know. That's why this sucks, because
Crawl towards me!
this is. Watch, if you watch, like right here, like you can see right there, he's got
Yeah.
his hand back. I think he's pulling up his pants,
Yeah.
but he looks kind of like he's, you know what I mean? It should have never fucking been in this. Like, he should have never had him crawling like that. I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like that in my fucking life.
Yeah.
No.
We've watched a shitload of arrest videos, and how could you possibly justify that would have been the safest way to do it? You know, I have no idea. But this is honestly the biggest message to all this is, if you are ever in this position with the police, don't fucking do anything
Don't
weird.
pull your pants
Just
up, yeah.
don't pull your pants up. Don't go in your pockets. Don't give them any reason.
It's insane.
Not to justify this in any way, but like,
But this is how
We've-
he got away with it.
We've
Is
talked-
because that guy tried to pull up his pants.
yeah.
And I'm sure upon inspection they did not find a weapon on him, but
No,
he got
they
away
didn't.
with it anyway.
Right. And all there was a pellet gun, I think, in the room.
Yeah, it
So-
wasn't even a real weapon. Yeah.
So, but yeah, you know what I mean about just like you're dealing with sometimes people that are just looking for any
Psychotic
fucking
psychos.
reason to shoot you. Yeah.
I feel like it was really clear that this cop wanted to shoot that guy. I mean, it's like he wouldn't stop talking about it.
Right. He seemed to be really hyped up for it, and
Yeah.
he had shot. If I remember right, this is the guy that was notching his gun.
Yeah, and he had, I can't remember what it is off the top of my
had
head,
a
but
bunch
he
of other
had some
shoots, like,
creepy
something.
inscription on the gun too.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe you can
engraved
find
on
that
it,
really
yeah.
quick, but.
Don't go!
But on the other hand, you can clearly see his hand is empty before they fire the first shot.
Yeah.
If you notice.
Don't go!
So,
It's obvious.
Jesus. Man, that's fucked up.
yeah.
Okay, hold on him. One with me.
But
Oh yeah. Oh, you're such a fucking hero. Yeah, go clear the room.
what really, really sucks is that we're saying that this guy was drunk, and that's why he had a hard time following the instructions.
Yeah, they had been drinking.
Well,
But
and the
the-
instructions were fucking impossible and confusing, you know?
Right, but
And
didn't the cop ask, have either of you been drinking, or are you in some kind of state that would make it difficult for you to follow my instructions? And they both say no. Like, if a gun is on
Yeah.
you and a guy asks that question, why would you lie about it? So
I don't
either they
know.
were sober or they're just super dumb. Did
Yeah.
they think they were going to be in trouble and guns pointed at them because they were being drunk?
I think that they like had no fucking idea what was going on. It was bewildering and like
drunk on adrenaline kind of thing, just like
yeah, and fear and just being like, you know, some people don't do well under duress like that. You know, some people really get fogged up and their ears are pounding and it's just, you know, I don't
Panic,
know, you know,
yeah. I've never had a gun pointed at me, but I don't imagine that I would respond very well.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No.
I don't know.
Let's get a gun and find out.
Yeah.
Load that shit up. Just point. You scared, bitch?
That'll be a little bit we try out.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It's point the gun at David's wife day. On the
Listen to my
Overdose.
instructions.
Yeah. Let's see if she
You put
gets
your
out of
right
this
foot
alive.
in. You put your right foot out. Faster.
His
Cross her legs.
gun that he was using had "you're fucked" etched into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy likes to shoot people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Absolutely.
And you know, just whatever. But this guy also didn't do a good job of not getting shot by the cops. You kind of have to not. I mean, it sucks ass, and he never should have been in that position at all. They should have just had his hands up, gone up to him, cuffed him, and found out that he had no weapons, and then, you know, de-escalated the situation. But
I'd like to hear the police, because the guy was found not guilty. So I wonder, what is the explanation? Did they have no alternative way of, you know, making sure that they were safe? And
well, for
disarming this guy?
that answer, I went to Inside Edition.
Oh,
This guy
they are
has
the
finished
experts.
reenacting the whole thing here, and he's going to talk to
Retired police officer Steve Cardian studied the video for Inside Edition. Why not just say, freeze, don't move, you're under arrest, and go up and arrest the guy?
You know, the way that I do and was taught, I would have him put his hands up. Now we see the high-risk area. Hands up, turn around, walk backwards towards me, drop down to your knees, cross your legs, and then I would make my approach, hands behind the back, and I would bring his hands behind his back and cuff him.
The officer who
So yeah,
There
that's
he
what
is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's him, huh?
slaughter.
Not guilty. Little bitch.
This is really
Thursday,
eating into my
he
Call
was
of Duty
acquitted.
time.
Shaver's heartbroken wife, Lainey, is calling his death an execution, pure and simple. She posted videos on Facebook of her husband
the
playing
baby.
with their 2 children.
Wait,
What?
that's his wife? That was not the woman he was drinking in that hotel room with.
Oh, that's true.
What do you mean?
Oh, you know,
Oh.
There was a different woman that he was drinking in the hotel room with.
How do you know?
Because she's in the video.
yeah.
Oh. What's it? I didn't see her face or anything. What did you see?
It looked like a different woman
Yeah.
in the video. It looked like she was bigger and blonder
Yeah.
or something, if I remember. I don't know.
Something, yeah. It didn't look like the same
Hold
woman
on, this
at
is
all.
the wife. Well, let's see. I don't.
Well, they were
I'm sure it says in the.
Maybe
I'm sure
they
it
were-
says in the article.
Maybe she was
Partner
the exterminator.
Exterminators,
We're just gonna
yeah.
do it the old-fashioned way.
Vice exterminator.
And then this other woman. Let's see.
All right.
No, that's not his wife.
No way.
No.
No way.
Anyways.
Oh.
I'm glad we got to the bottom of that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that was important.
what do you? That sucks. That's a rough one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
But you're not. I mean, there's so many more ridiculous ones than that you're never gonna win that one. After
No, not
after
a
he
chance.
did like that cowboy reaching for his gun stance, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know he was just pulling his pants up drunk. But
yeah, of
you know.
course. Because why do your pants always fall down so much when you're drunk? It happens to everybody.
Yeah. I really don't know. For David Box, it's because that's when he gets, you know, frisky. He just lets him loose and walks through the apartment like I'm not gonna notice. Whatever.
All right. Well, they did sentence.
Sorry, I've had complaints that I haven't had enough hitting on David Box jokes. Everybody's been getting mad.
That's true. Everybody
Yeah.
has wanted to do that.
Is that what
the-
gets us views on Facebook?
Nothing does.
The dynamic between you and me.
Guy who murdered Walter Scott got sentenced today not today, in the past couple days, to almost 20 years in prison.
Yeah.
He was convicted a while ago, but he did get a sentence today, which is good. 20 years for murdering somebody. It seems
one of them gets.
Yeah, one of them
Gets sentenced to
just enough to shut you up.
Enjoy your crumbs, scum.
And he's gonna be in that like protected place. I don't know. Maybe they'll still get to him.
I don't know. Did they all go to like a special
Ad
cop
seg.
jail?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think usually like cops and pedophiles and, whoever else
Safe
gets
jail.
retired gangsters. And they all get put in like the safe part of jail, whatever the fuck that is.
Just with
know.
like-minded people.
Right,
They
yeah.
put all the cops together and all the. But that doesn't seem like a good idea either, though.
No, I think
All the
shit still.
pedophiles in one place.
I think shit still happens in there.
Yeah.
It's just a terrible place.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's gonna be there now. Good for him.
That's good. That's
That
why
one was
not.
ridiculous. The guy was just running away. He was running all slowly with his like back stiff.
Yeah.
And like 2 miles an hour, and the guy just shoots him.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, this shit is. Whatever.
We haven't talked about it in a while, but it just never stops.
With that Daniel Shaver one, this is the one. Like, I'm surprised it hasn't gotten more famous because this would be a good one for everybody to get really pissed and argue about. Be like, there's no reason to shoot him. Duh, he looked like he was reaching for a gun, you lib cunt.
Yeah. I think people are just tired. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
That's why we haven't been talking about it. It just never stops, though.
Do you think it might be because he's white?
I doubt it.
I've seen a lot of people say that. Like, mainstream media won't talk about this because he's white.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Well,
probably. I don't care.
Hannibal Buress is trending right now, and he didn't even get shot.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, nice.
The Hannibal Buress arrest video is
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
This is breaking news. Out of where was he? Miami.
Miami, yeah.
So it's
This
kind
was
of.
2 o'clock this morning.
Do we know what he did?
They're charging him with disorderly public intoxication.
So probably nothing. He was
Basically,
probably-
he got loud when they tried to tell him what to do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He asked one of the cops to call him an Uber, and the cop refused, and he did not care for that. And I guess they didn't say exactly what he said, but he made some comments that made the police officer believe that he was too drunk to be in public anymore. So when Hannibal Buress went back into the club where he was, the cop followed him in there and attempted to extract him and send him home for being too drunk. And
AKA for being black.
yeah.
He doesn't-
And then they were outside and he was like, I don't understand what's happening. And the cops were like, you're coming with us. And he was like, I don't really think so.
He does sound drunk as hell in this.
Yeah, but whatever. Miami is like it's a party city.
No, I know.
You
but
know, like,
I'm just saying, he does sound really drunk.
yeah, that's fine.
But he.
And maybe he was an asshole, but like,
Hold on,
did
so
he
wait.
do something illegal?
This whole thing started when he asked the cop to call him an Uber.
Call him an Uber, yeah.
Well, then what? I mean, yeah, he's fucking wasted. It's not a normal idea at all. It's not a thing anyone think. Like, that's never a thing you would do if
Yeah.
you're stone cold sober at 2 PM.
Maybe if you're a celebrity.
You think
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
I have
you
no idea
recognize
what
him
kind
as
of world he lives
Look,
in.
a public servant.
Yeah,
I don't
you
think
work
he's
for me.
Yeah, I don't think he's that famous.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not.
Though he did break Cosby Gate.
Cosby
He
Gate.
did, yeah.
Here, let's look at this.
Under arrest. Am I under?
Yeah, clearly you're under arrest. Handcuffs on and stuff.
What is your opinion on this matter?
Yeah.
Explain what I'm detained for. Burnade and relegate. What am I detained for?
Trespassing.
Yeah, they didn't charge him with trespassing.
Okay.
You about to be.
What property was he trespassing on? He's pressing charges on that. Who told you?
It's fans.
I'm goofy as fuck. You know you goofy as fuck, right? You know you goofy as fuck, right? Y'all know y'all goofy as fuck, right? You know you goofy. Y'all know y'all like.
Hold on, the comedian.
Like what's?
Oh, what?
Am I?
Yeah, bro.
That is. I'm chilling. No, you're making it harder as ever. I'm chilling. He's just salty now, bro.
Hannibal Buress.
This cop is probably so pumped to be arresting a celebrity right now.
This is a tense situation.
I'm sure that I'm sure they do love when this happens.
Yeah.
I'm not getting.
No, I don't either.
I'm not getting in the car.
This be all they talk about all week.
Yeah.
Hear about that comedian?
I don't. You don't have probable cause for anything.
Uh-oh.
You don't have probable cause for anything. You don't have probable cause for anything, and you're looking hella stupid.
I don't think this hurts a guy like his career either, does it?
No, not at all.
'Cause
No,
he's
I like this.
Mainly doing stand-up and stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
this doesn't matter.
No,
you know?
who cares about this?
Yeah,
He's
this-
not raping anybody.
No, and he's pretty hilarious during it.
That's
Like,
yeah.
She'll be fine, I think.
Y'all goofy as fuck.
I wouldn't worry too much about this.
My man's Officer Buress out here right now.
My man's Officer Buress?
I don't know what that meant.
I wasn't trespassing.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
So basically, he just pissed him off, which is not
Yeah.
illegal.
Right.
You look like you trying to think.
And they
of it.
just were like, all right, this guy's, you know.
Right now. He's pulling me right now.
Yo, don't hurt my
He's
man.
pulling him from
Nah,
the other
man.
side.
Hey,
That's
hey.
my man's.
That's my man's,
They
yo.
are
Shoving
being
him in
awfully
the
gentle
car.
with him,
Did you,
though.
did you hear that, kid?
Yeah.
That's my man's. Don't do him like that.
Don't hurt my man.
Nah, man.
Hey,
That's
hey.
my man's.
What is the charges?
A little really half-assed wigger attempt. Like, that's my man's. Like, he knew it was going to sound dorky, like,
Yeah.
halfway through it, but then he had to keep it going.
Man.
He's pulling me right now.
Yo, don't hurt my man.
Nah,
Hey,
man.
hey,
That's
hey.
my man's.
That S was so reluctant.
Free Hannibal Buress.
Come on, man. It's our
You heard it here.
So you gonna take it
We're
to the
busting this story wide open.
Nah,
Yeah.
man.
Mitchell Wiggs, huh?
You can't do that.
Ah.
Nah.
So,
They were gentle getting him in the car, though. I mean,
I mean, whatever.
it would
They
have
did.
gone down differently if he wasn't famous.
They did kidnap him and take him away.
that's true.
Yeah.
Not very nice.
Well-
but yeah,
But they were gentle about it. Cut him some slack.
I think it probably would have been a lot worse
Yeah.
in other situations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I never mentioned this. God damn it. I'm a fucking idiot. If you go to overdosetalkshow.com, we now have the video that was banned from YouTube for hate speech.
Woo.
As we went over, it wasn't racial or religious hate speech or anything like that, or sexual or anything. It was just
No.
general hatred.
We wouldn't
Right.
do
That's
you
all.
like that, baby.
Which, I mean,
was just-
everybody has general hatred.
It was
I
just
don't see why-
meanness. That's
Yeah.
all. And I think it got a lot of complaints. And if
A
you
lot?
yeah, yeah, a lot. One commenter told me that she and several of her friends had reported it for hate speech.
Oh.
And when she said that, I was like, "You're fucking stupid. They're not going to remove it for you crazy idiots."
Yeah.
And then the next day, it was gone. Like,
Here
son
we
of a
are.
bitch. All right, so now it's on
Better
our
be
site.
careful, not too hateful.
Are you showing this, David Box?
Yeah.
There it is. Boom.
There it is. Click on it.
Bam.
Right there.
There it
Look at that
is.
shit. So
We'll also be posting the removed clip on our website.
oh yeah, that should be up tonight too.
So from our last episode, you may have
Of
noticed
us reviewing
a chunk was
yeah,
missing.
Us
Oh,
reviewing
yeah.
the show The Ranch,
Yeah.
which is
Vinny's favorite show.
It's a
one of
great
my
show, yeah.
one of my absolute favorite shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a ton of fun, too.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about Danny Masterson, raping people in the ass.
Right.
No.
For just a little while.
Yeah.
We touched on that.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be going around lately. Do we all know about Ralph Shortey?
Yeah.
give it
Is there
a-
anything funny in this video? This is the video of him
Well, yeah.
being confronted by the police. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's explain who he is. He's a congressperson, as I recall.
He's a senator from Ohio.
And he's been caught inside of a hotel room with an underage girl or boy. I
A
can't
young
remember.
man.
It's hard to do.
A 17-year-old man.
It's really hard to remember all this shit. We
Boy.
were talking like, oh, who did what? What did Roy Moore do?
yeah. I mean,
can't-
everybody's just doing everything. It's really exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop.
It's fucking impossible.
stop,
But
yeah.
here we go. Submitted for your approval on the Overdose Talk Show.
All right, come out.
This is Ralph
Before you
Shortey
get me
being
worried.
extracted from his
Show
hotel
me your
room.
hands.
Okay.
That's
Take a seat
shoddy.
on the-
Yeah.
What's going on with you, man?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oklahoma,
good
not
time?
Ohio. I said Ohio before.
Yeah.
It's Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
I'm teaching this young man
What's your
how to
name?
tie some knots.
Ralph what? You got an ID, Shorty?
They were smoking weed. I don't know if we said that either.
Shorty doesn't sound like a last name. to
Shorty
me.
is? Yeah. And then you growed like 10 feet? It kind of doesn't work, does
Growed.
it? Yeah, that's what we
Cop's an
did.
idiot.
He's 7.
Then you grow 10 feet?
What are you, like 10 feet tall?
That doesn't work, does it? The hell did that mean?
It kind of doesn't work. And then you grow like 10 feet? Kind of doesn't work, does it?
I'm sorry, guys.
I know you're lying to me.
Yeah,
That's
what we do.
unlogical.
He's 17. What do you mean, okay?
Who's 17? Who called the cops here?
But you got 17 hanging out with you.
The parents of the 17-year-old boy.
How did they find out where he
somehow-
was?
This guy, I don't know how they found out, but this guy found the kid on Craigslist.
Craigslist? Oh, so they
and
probably
was
found his, like...
fixing to pay him
They
for
probably
his services.
went on his computer and whatever and,
Probably,
and
yeah.
tracked him and
Yeah.
found out where he's going.
But it said that they were responding to a tip from the concerned parents. So
okay.
he does, I think it's about to happen right now, but the cop is like, he's 17, and this guy says, well, can you prove to me he's 17?
Hold on.
Dad's worried, and you understand that?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Okay, you got ID on you? Is there any other drugs in here other than weed?
No, there's nothing.
Is there any guns in here?
He had weed too?
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can you show me that he's only 17?
No, I can't, but I can convince you that he is. I can put you in handcuffs and throw you in the back of a car.
We do that
Okay,
route.
let's see an ID real quick.
Damn.
Really dumb exchange.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir. You can take a seat back on the bed.
What?
And also this senator is an anti-gay.
Of course. Always. It's, yeah,
always,
like we were
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the last show.
I feel like most people would have assumed that, but I just wanted to make sure we said it.
Yeah. They're always gay. Always, right?
Always, 100% of the time.
Why? Why are the anti-gay crowd always gay? Like that flag twirling guy?
They hate themselves.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
That's it, huh?
Because they
Okay.
hate themselves.
They hate themselves more than they could hate any external
This
thing.
is part 2.
Oh, there's a part 2.
Yeah, because anybody that wants to, it's like anti-drug senators get Mitch, what is it, Mitch McConnell? Remember he was tied to some
He had all the
giant
cocaine
coke
on his
ring.
ship.
Yeah, exactly.
But listen,
And
whatever you're doing,
and whatever, anybody that tries to control people,
Does that make
like we
sense?
said, is usually because
Usually
they
an
can't
inner
control
battle.
themselves.
Yeah.
whatever is a bad idea.
So
no matter
this
how,
is-
What
if
it
you're
is.
17 or 20, it's a bad idea. You understand?
Yeah,
what I'm
so he
saying?
ended up getting
If you
charged
wanna have
with
fun by yourself,
child sex trafficking and
Jesus.
you
prostitution.
can live your life however you want to live it. But when you
Yeah.
start
They must have
doing
been able to
it with
prove then
kids
that he
and stuff,
knew
then
the
it
age of
starts to become
the
serious,
kid.
serious problem.
I'm sure there was a Craigslist ad that said I'm 17.
'Cause listen,
I don't
That's
thi-
why he responded.
If
Yeah.
he was a couple years younger.
That would be
he
like
could go
just
to prison.
if you were
understand what I'm saying?
prostituting
With no
on
strings
Craigslist,
attached.
you would never do that though
You'd be
because
blowing
that
the
would just be an
door up and
instant
we'd
way
be
to get the
taking you
cops
in the car.
involved. Like,
You understand what I'm saying?
Also, yeah, why would you respond to that ad?
yeah,
Hey, you want to do something super
really
illegal?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Sure, I'm a senator.
maybe they have like a code that's known.
oh yeah.
I'm a feisty cub.
Looking to serve up some hot dogs and pizza with extra walnut sauce.
Yeah, no, there's
No
like-
hair on mine.
There's somehow I never really understood how they get away with it, but there's apparently a lot of prostitution. Are they fucking? Oh my god! Every time fighting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of prostitution on Craigslist somehow. I think they've cracked down on it a lot, but years ago it was a thing that they had codes and shit. I don't fucking know.
Well, and I'm sure by now there's the equivalent for that.
With what?
A Craigslist prostitution specific thing, but not Craigslist. It's like the
How many-
version for prostitution.
How many Bitcoin for one prostitution?
What about this thing with Roy Moore? You told me about
boy.
this quote of his.
Yeah. You know, we never really talked about Roy Moore. He is a fucking creep.
Yeah.
He really is. His charges are from a long time ago, but they involve him being predatory towards 14 to 18-year-olds.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
The oldest person who he predatored was 28, but that was like decades after the other girls. So
Weird.
he was in his 30s and taking 14-year-olds on dates.
There's something about
Allegedly.
a yearbook that he signed.
So what year would that have been?
It was the 60s.
Yeah, they did shit like that.
Yeah. Ew.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
There was just weird, like if you had a certain status in society, you were somehow able to get away with shit like that. And
Yeah.
people just...
Well, nobody even... pedophilia wasn't a thing until the 80s. It didn't even have a name, you know?
That can't be true.
Remember in Who Took Johnny? They talk about how there's like one
that's
pedophilia
right.
guy.
It was the
in
early
the
80s, and they were like searching all over the place for anyone who could tell, was like an expert on the subject.
Right,
or anything.
and there was like literally one guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird to think about.
I mean, maybe they had the word for it, but like nobody cared about it. Okay.
I know. But it is strange to think that it was that recently, you know? I always forget that.
Now we have Judge
Before that,
Roy
it was
Moore,
called a mentorship.
child predator,
It's called babysitting.
who was apparently also quite a fan of slavery.
Let's see these
Angela,
idiots
at a
talk about
campaign
it.
event in September, one of the only African Americans in the audience asked Roy Moore for his opinion on when the last time America was great. Here's the quote. I think it was reportedly the quote, "I think it was great at the time when families were united, even though we had slavery. They cared for one another. Our families were strong. Our country."
I didn't realize it was
a
black question asker. I missed that in the original story, and that it's just so much creepier. Why?
There had to have been so many better ways to answer that question.
Infinitely. I have no idea why he would do something like that.
That was ridiculous.
This guy's a real net hole. I'm not good at that anymore.
Yeah. Well, that was for the birds.
I mean, he basically said, they said, when was the last time America was great? And he said, when we had slaves.
When we had slaves, even though there was slaves, they really loved each other.
Yeah.
Well, and like
they were part of a family.
Reference maybe a different time when families were united.
Yeah.
It's like slavery ended and suddenly there weren't families anymore. What are you fucking talking about?
Or even that time, but don't specifically mention the slavery. Just be one of those people that pretends it wasn't happening, and it's like, oh, the antebellum South, it was so wonderful, and you know, the blah blah blah. Like people that go, I always thought it was weird when you go to plantations in Louisiana and stuff, they never mention the slaves ever. It's just all this focus on like the elegant parties and the blah blah blah, but like they never mention, you know, like, and then they, you know, would whip people over here and stand there and decide who to sell and shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, it paints a better picture, but
Not sure if you're worth feeding any longer. I might take you to the town square and sell you.
well, and you know, besides this just being such a creepy thing for somebody to say, since he has said this, still, you know, Trump is just defending this guy left and right.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Got a full endorsement. No, it doesn't matter.
He does not give
Loves
a shit.
him. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. It's weird. It's like, what does this guy have on
The
people
other
in
guy.
power? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how is he doing this?
Yeah, you gotta wonder, like, some people are out so easy. Like, remember with General Petraeus? It was like, well, you had a mistress and she did something crazy, so you're a liability and blah, 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 you're done.
You're
and
done.
he obviously had no leverage in the
Right.
situation. But then this, like, some people survive. Robert Byrd was Speaker of the House after he started chapters of the Ku Klux Klan. The fuck was that? Why did they need
Your
him?
tax
He was
dollars
a-
at work.
And it was all about the heroic story of a man who confronted his demons and made a great transformation over time, and is nothing like his younger days. Remember Obama's eulogy of him and stuff? Just like, that shit blows my mind. Why did they need him? Was there no one else that would just that would just vote how they want? That didn't start chapters of the Klan? There was nobody like that?
No,
you know?
he knew something.
He had to,
something.
right?
Yeah. Here, this guy, Trump has been saying about Roy Moore, get out and vote for Roy Moore. Do it. Do it. We we
God.
cannot afford this country, the future of this country, cannot afford to lose a seat in the very, very close United States Senate. We can't afford it, folks. We can't. We can't afford to have a liberal Democrat who is completely controlled by Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. We can't do it. Yeah, that's a pretty strong endorsement. Wait, and he claims that people in the crowd were screaming, "We want Roy Moore" at his rally in Pensacola.
We like Roy.
Yeah. So so I don't know how they're not gonna elect this guy. Alabama is a very Trump-oriented.
Oh.
And that's the point that it's come to. Like, he's going to sell to the religious right the idea that, like, it doesn't matter if this guy is a known pedophile and, is
general creep.
And general creep. Yeah, we really just can't have a Democrat. And they hate Democrats more than pedophiles.
That's
the
true.
scary thing. It's probably true.
It's Al Franken stepped down.
Oh, that's right.
Who is a Democrat who hasn't admitted to doing any wrongdoing.
You know what? Let's come back to that later because we got to get our guest on.
Okay.
So we're going to take a quick break.
All right.
And come back with Catherine Nieves. Do you say Nieves or Nieves or Nieves?
I think the third one,
Nieves.
whatever the hell it is.
You say it when we come back, okay?
I say nothing.
Yeah, no, you're going to do it.
Nieves.
Nieves. About Kratom. Yeah, Kratom Advocate.
Kratom.
Yep, we'll be back. Ready? You good? Okay, we're back on the Overdose. Talking again about Kratom. We take a special interest here in the drug war on drugs. And one of the newest things that you could possibly talk about is Kratom, which is a pretty harmless, in my estimation, plant that the DEA is attempting to ban. They tried the emergency ban. I think they fought that back.
Yeah.
And but the onslaught continues because it threatens the pharmaceutical industry. It's a natural remedy that people use to get off of painkillers, everything from any kind of opioid to heroin itself. There's all kinds of success stories with it, and very little stories of anyone who had any negative results, basically.
Right.
I tried it once. It made me throw up. I didn't really like it, but still, there's a lot of people that have great stories with it. So, Andrea, who's on the phone with us?
Tonight we have Catherine Nieves, who is a Kratom advocate and a volunteer for the American Kratom Association.
All right, so let me bring her up. Catherine.
How's it going, guys?
Good. How you doing?
All right.
So was I right about that emergency ban was unsuccessful?
Yeah, it actually, in the history of the DEA, they have submitted an emergency ban with, I believe, 83, 84, 80 something substances. And this is the only time in history that they have withdrawn their emergency ban attempt.
And since then, they've kind of tried to ramp up their fear campaign, right?
Yeah, they've kind of changed their tactic to local governments and at the state level, since they face such a backlash at the national level. Absolutely.
Is it also maybe just that it's,
at the moment,
it's easier to buy off a city
lack of-
council or something? Sorry, I were cutting out for a second.
When you deal with people that a lot of people aren't familiar with it, it's especially since it's so low key. It's basically like a morning cup of coffee for me. And you don't see people in the news they've tried to correlate it to spice by falsely calling it a synthetic, but you don't see people in the news with synthetic drugs like that, are being stupid or, causing crimes. Essentially,
it's not sensational. You're not gonna really ever have a reason to hear about it unless you're interested in it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. There's not really you're not breaking into somebody's house to get your morning cup of tea.
Sure.
Basically. So, people don't hear about it unless that information is presented to them. So right now the difficulty is being the first ones to, educate our local and state governments, just so that, they get the correct education first instead of the fear mongering, the propaganda, basically on that level.
Yeah, it really just amazes me that the FDA, I mean, I like I was saying before, it doesn't really amaze me, but it just is really fucking disturbing how hypocritical and transparent they can be going after something like Kratom and saying basically nothing about Oxycontin and all these things that are killing 15, 20,000 people every year. And now they're trying to say, oh, well, Kratom is responsible for 40-some deaths over the past few years or whatever it is, which is that number is probably not believable either. But, you know,
right.
it just is amazing to me that they can be this transparent, all because it threatens the pharmaceutical companies, right?
Well, the interesting thing is if you go onto the FDA adverse events reporting system, I believe it's called FAERS, most of the deaths that they tried to correlate Kratom with, the other substance that's been in their system in a lot of these cases has been loperamide. Loperamide is also known as Imodium. So that a lot of people, if they're in the throes of withdrawal, they will be taking a large amount of Imodium, and when you get that large buildup of quinine, that's a toxic substance. But instead of evaluating the levels of any other toxic substance in the body at that time, just because of the way that it plays into their end game, I guess you would say.
Sure.
They're trying to jump on, oh, hey, Kratom was, in some cases not even in the system. Kratom was just there, in a woman's purse, not even in her system. But what we've got is a chronic failure
to communicate
at medical examiner level. It's entirely possible that they're being directed by the FDA or the DEA to not look any further than finding, said Kratom in their possession or in their system, and not looking to see if there are any, pre-existing conditions, any.
Do you really think it's a failure, or do you think this is just how they operate? I mean, this, to me, I have a hard time looking at it as a failure, so much as just business as usual. They're in the business of banning natural substances and favoring synthetic ones.
Right, and just like with, they're starting to lose with the advent of marijuana legalization. They're losing, funds from the prohibition of that in certain areas, and it's entirely possible that they're looking for something else to fill the coffers, I guess you would say.
Yeah, and I mean, I have no idea. It's going to be really weird if the ban goes through. It will be very weird to start seeing videos of Kratom raids.
Yeah.
Like people are used to it with weed, even though it's still silly in that case.
Mhm.
But when it starts with Kratom, and it's going to be somebody in a wheelchair, or you know what I mean, it's really for people with debilitating pain. Is really the people that use it the most, I think. Sorry.
Are people just looking to improve their productivity at work? I have a combination of absolutely debilitating, at sometimes knee pain. But I also have, kids that I have to keep up with and 2 jobs.
Sure.
And, way more effective than coffee for me. It keeps me, I'd say, at the top of my game all day and not having to be on the sidelines from knee issues that I've been dealing with since I was 7 years old.
Sure, and wanting to avoid pharmaceuticals and opioids and stuff too,
Exactly. For the sake of our families. And the really sad thing was when we went up to Washington, D.C. last year to protest out front of the White House, and when we had our march on D.C., when we were possibly facing the emergency scheduling, there were so many families there with kids and signs, including my own kids, with signs saying, "My mother's not a criminal."
Sure. Yeah, if I had kids, they would not be able to hold those signs in any level of honesty. But I get your point. Yeah, sorry. It really is. It is silly how it could go in a matter of 5-10 years. From a point where nobody knows what it is. It's not a problem. This is the thing. Most people, my friend who was on the show last week, who's a weed legalization advocate, had never heard of Kratom. So even people in that field haven't heard of it. Nobody knows what it is. But then in 5-10 years, if it's been illegal for a few years, and it becomes a national conversation, you'll have people like, well, that's the law. Don't break the law. If it's like, you didn't care about this. Yeah. It wasn't a menace in your neighborhood. this is literally affecting no one, you know?
Well, I mean, the one good thing is that, like, I found out about it because they're trying to make it illegal, and I have been able to share with lots of people that it may be good for them. I have a friend with fibromyalgia who started using it regularly.
Oh, yeah?
And she had never heard of it before.
Did it help?
It totally helps her.
Yeah,
nothing else does.
I've talked to a few people who used it to get off of their like prescription medication that of various kinds that they felt like they were addicted to, and that they were able to use kratom to kind of ease off of that stuff too. Yeah, I mean, it is ridiculous though that all it would take was for a few years for there to be millions of people weighing in on it. Like, well, that's the law. You know? Like, well, why?
Yeah.
Anyways, what's this press release you were telling us about? The American Kratom Association did a press release addressing their FOIA requests that they've made to the FDA.
Yeah, did a press conference actually.
Oh, I'm sorry, a press conference. Okay.
Now, the FDA, what we've been doing, we submitted a call. We put a call to action on the website asking anybody that cares enough to try to keep this legal to get in touch with the same Congress people that we were in touch with last year, that we got 52 congressmen and senators to write a Dear Colleague letter to the DEA requesting that they halt the ban until further research can be done, because enough of their constituents spoke out about how this was going to severely negatively impact their lives if the ban were to go through. So what we're trying to do is essentially the same thing as last year. What we want is accountability and people to actually look at the science behind the FDA's so-called 8-factor analysis. For some reason, it took them a year to get that done, and we were able to get our 8-factor analysis done within a month of the proposed ban. And the 8-factor analysis with that is it. And
this is what this is what they're trying to get when they send the FOIA requests, right? They're trying to get the records of the autopsies and things like that. And
at the time we were trying to see the actual medical examiner information that was behind their claims of 42 deaths being attributed to kratom, but unfortunately, they denied it the first couple of times, and when they finally released information, it was absolutely a travesty of science, basically reefer madness all over again. It's kind of appalling.
How do you think? How does that work? I mean, is it just old school mafia paying payoffs and threats and stuff? I mean, how are they getting this done?
I mean, you've got sessions with, even though states are legalizing it at a state level, you still got him trying to ramp up it on a federal level, trying to renew state sessions.
He's like the new Ashcroft. That's just poised to just do a lot of really nutty things.
Yeah, there's just been a major clamping down of some really archaic policies. And I think this has been in the process for a while, but what doesn't help is when you've got people working for the FDA with vested interests in the pharmaceutical industry, people that have been part of that up-high corporate family for years. I mean, you've got Scott Gottlieb, the head of the FDA, and he has or at least had a vested financial interest when he was employed by the manufacturer of fentanyl. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. The government is completely if it's not Monsanto, it's Bayer or something else.
Yeah, well, they're the same thing now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Did Bayer buy Monsanto?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Jesus. Historic.
Wow, this guy looks slick. Scott Gottlieb.
Yeah, real slick.
Real hip youngster. We're looking at pictures of Scott Gottlieb. So he obviously has an interest in keeping pharmaceuticals pumping out, and the idea that they care at all about public health is what's so insulting about this entire thing.
Right.
It's like, if you're going to be this in our face about it, just tell the truth. There's still nothing we can do.
Yeah.
We're still just you might as well just come out with it at this point.
And the really sad. He basically came out and said it in the last press release that he shared on his Twitter, basically saying that what's going to cause kratom to be banned is vendors making the claim that it helps people, beat opiate addiction and things of that sort, and that it's only really safe to do so under the supervision of an FDA-approved regimen, which is essentially, methadone, Suboxone, a patent for buprenorphine, which is Suboxone, was just recently approved. So
yeah, and so they're basically saying like, yeah, you can't. It's sort of like you can't give health advice on the radio and all those old rules and stuff. It's just like it's a dicey legal area where you can't make a claim about a substance unless you're accredited and blah blah blah. And part of the whole structure here. Yeah.
So the problem is really just the policy itself, but it's the idea of us being able to change that, which is so ingrained in the FDA approval process. And you've got, a large majority of this country that believes that the FDA has their best interests at heart. The odds of us changing that process is basically non-existent. So what has to be done is vendors have to stop making medical claims and really just comply with testing, make sure that you're getting, chemical testing done on your product to show that it is 100% plant material, because part of the problem was in Sweden, some of these deaths that have been attributed to kratom was actually caused by a product called Krypton, which was kratom that was laced with tramadol.
Krypton just doesn't sound like something that could be good for you at all. What is that?
But even though the fact that didn't even happen in this country, they're still using those 8 or 9 deaths that happened in Sweden to be a reason to ban this wonderful plant. So what we really just need is the industry itself to come together and start self-regulating, or we're going to absolutely lose this fight.
Yeah. What are you still pretty optimistic about your chances overall, or I don't know, this is a terrible question to ask an advocate. I always do this though. Like, I mean, I'm more optimistic than I used to be, but I just figure like, when I look at the fight with marijuana, it never made sense. It's been 80 years of just completely insane corruption that's kept it illegal. And it just seems like there's nothing people can do, Like I'd be advocating for everybody to start getting their black market kratom supply lined up, and expect that it's going to go way up in price. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just a pessimist.
Some people, I had a friend that I've known since high school messaging me on Facebook about a year and 2 months ago. And he was terrified. He said, "We're not going to win this. This is the DEA. You need to start buying as much as you can right now."
Yeah.
And because it's 14 months later, we're still here. So that's not necessarily, it looks dire. Yeah. And if we don't get our shit together, or, acting as one entity, despite the different there's about 3 or 4 different organizations that are out there right now, and in some cases the people that are involved with those organizations have a bit of a divide. But if we don't get past that and start unifying, then we might not win. But if we do, then we absolutely have a chance of making history again. Out of 84 or so substances that the DEA has submitted an emergency ban proposal for, this is the first time in history that they withdrew it. So just because it looks impossible doesn't mean that it is. Just a lot of people have to get their shit together.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing that you guys pulled that off.
It really is.
I'm hopeful and everything else. I don't mean to be like such a downer about it. And I'm just so sick of it, and it's so exhausting that you even have to go through this process to try to justify why you would want it. Because in our view, it's no one's business but your own. If you want to do it, do it. I
am curious. I'm not sure if we talked about this already or not, but they have banned it in San Diego and a city in Colorado where recreational weed is legal in both those places. How do you think they pushed it through in places that obviously understand the value
Well, I need to look at the specific legislation, but it could be like what happened in Sarasota County, which is just south of me in Florida. It got lumped into a bill banning synthetics like spice, bath salts, flocka, which who's done the tiniest bit of research would know that it's not even remotely a synthetic. It's actually whole plant material and incredibly safe. A study done in 2015 where it was physically impossible for the researchers to create an overdose in these rats over a span of 28 days. They actually had to kill the rats at the end of the study to study the physiological effects that the amount of kratom they had been feeding them caused on their body.
So they just gave them a half an Oxycontin. It's like, okay, they're dead now.
And then you would, go back to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is education. These people aren't aware that it's not synthetic. And they lumped it in, and this is what happens. So really, we get back to the main issue of need to educate our local legislators, or we're screwed.
Yeah, you think it was just came down to the fact that nobody had any idea what it was. Yeah, so I guess if you care about this out there, this is the time to make a lot of noise, and try to get anybody, really even just the people around you, and just tell them about it. And anybody that cares about the drug war or cares about marijuana legalization or anything like this is just another way to set a precedent, and maybe. Sorry, go ahead.
Is live the example. Sorry, the best thing you could do is live the example, show how amazingly this plant has helped your life, and let them see that. When somebody asks, hey, you know what, man, I noticed that you've made like a complete turnaround. You seem like you're doing great. What happened? It's like, there's this plant, man. It completely changed my life. I am 1,000 times healthier now. And you just continue educating from there. And then word spreads, because addiction has impacted, I believe, 1 out of 10 people in this country have either been personally impacted by or know somebody personally impacted by opiate addiction.
I would guess that almost everybody knows somebody who might be interested in trying kratom too.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's cheap still. From what I know, we bought a kilo of it for like $30 or something a while back. And like I said, I didn't particularly enjoy it, but I never enjoyed like any kind of opioid feeling. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it just was never my thing. But I can tell you for a fact that it does work. I did feel the pain kind of relieving, not really numbing, but kind of that nice like. Just makes you feel just kind of light and floaty and nice, but then eventually I felt sick, but I drank too much, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you take too much. You get, nauseous, and sometimes you vomit. That's the kind of incredible thing, is that's, as far as it goes, there's no respiratory depression. And it's possible for people to take too much of anything. If people take too much of nutmeg, they can have a toxic reaction. If people take too much Advil, they can die. People take too much Tylenol, they can die. It's not, so you haven't studied or discovered a toxic level of this plant yet. So I don't think some people having a little bit too much and getting nauseous is any reason to ban it. The way I like to describe how it makes you feel is it's like you won $10 on a scratch off. Whoop-de-doo. It's not like any ridiculous like euphoria feeling like you get with opiates. It's nothing like that.
No. I'm not trying to like scare anyone with that story. I just got it from a complete nutcase, this girl that I knew, and she just made way too much of it, and I didn't know very much about it. I was like, okay, I'll try it, and I drank way too much. But yeah, no, that's not a reason to scare anyone or ban it. If you do it proper, if you do it properly, it's delightful, I'm sure. But yeah,
what I like to
sorry.
Is it's a sense of well-being. It's a sense of health, and if you're dealing with, if you need to replace your coffee, you're completely going to be happy.
You know what? I've wanted to try doing the little bit of it and try to get the more coffee effect. I think I'll try that tomorrow, and I'll report back.
Comes to this plant, less is absolutely more.
Yeah. Any other big news before we say goodbye for now?
go on to www.americankratom.org on their call to action page and become involved as much as you possibly can, or we're going to lose this plant that helps so many people. And in this day and age when we're supposed to be past that point as a country, it's really depressing that we're even having this conversation. But that's why I'm here, is education is the only way that we're going to change history again.
Right. And the idea is they're trying to slip this by, and they're relying on the fact that nobody knows, so we're showing it on screen right now, the call to action page. Go check this out, see how you can get involved, tell your friends, talk about it, get the word around, and see if if the only possibility here is that, they have to formally address the public on it. If they have to really justify their claims, I guess there is a good possibility that you could stop the ban. So go there, check it out. Catherine Nieves, kratom advocate and volunteer for the American Kratom Association. We'll talk to you again because you're kind of our point man on this, and we'll keep in touch with you and see where this goes.
I'm happy to be here, and thank you guys so much for having me again.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, and sorry for keeping you waiting earlier. We've just been running late all night.
You're fine.
All right. Well, happy trails. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Bye.
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 There she goes. Off into a Florida sunset.
Sounds lovely.
I kind of miss the deep south now that I'm back up here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
I miss the humidity.
What?
Yeah.
That?
I do.
Get a humidifier. Boil a big pot of water.
No, because I want it to be dry and air conditioned inside and really wet out. I just miss that transition to going outside, and you're kind of in this.
No, now when you go outside, it's just horrible, and it hurts.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to the bitter cold. This is exactly what I wanted.
The good news is it stopped the construction next door.
Yeah, for now.
For at least while it's this fucking cold out. Yeah, but that shit was driving me nuts. I feel like such an idiot. I could have easily looked out the window when I was moving in and thought, that construction is 5 feet away. But it didn't occur to me till the second or third day here. I'm like, it's going to be like this every fucking day. You just wake up to hammers, literally.
Yeah.
10, 20 feet away from your bedroom window. Just guys yelling, cranes.
They're always yelling.
Does it concern anybody that building is entirely made out of wood?
We should get a picture of it. It is fucking strange. It's very
weird, yeah.
There's 5 stories of just wood. I don't see anything else going on. No steel or concrete, right?
No.
I mean, it's on a concrete, what's going to be a parking garage, I guess. But it's on a concrete foundation, but then it's just these twigs piled up into 6 stories. And
yeah.
It just doesn't look like.
And by the way, this Tyvek company must be cleaning up.
Yeah, no kidding.
The paper on the side of the buildings when they're doing construction.
Stuff.
Tyvek?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. What the hell? They're just pumping that paper out. It's everywhere because they're building up this whole area. All you see is fucking Tyvek.
It's everywhere.
And then they put their, it's such good advertising, having it all over the place all the time. If I'm building something, I know exactly who to fucking call. Tyvek. I need some paper on my shit so that it rattles really fucking loud all the time. You just every day, you just all day long when it's windy, just outside.
You can't even do a good enough impression of it. It's so loud.
What do they need that stuff? Is it supposed to block wind while they're working in there? What is going on with that?
I think it's a layer of insulation. It's not paper. It's fabric paper.
I hate Tyvek.
It's really, really tough.
Tyvek. They really did corner the market on that fucking unfinished building shit.
They
paper
do it the best.
Stuff. What is it? It's not paper?
It's it's like what a dollar bill is made out of, but tougher. Fabric paper. All right.
What is this?
I guess we're going to break to this.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know what this is. This is an old folder I was clicking through. Be back in a minute on the Overdose.
What was that voice I was doing earlier when I was talking to the cats? Or I was giving them treats? Millie! Bamboo!
You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back on the Overdose Talk Show. Thanks for sticking with us. I feel like I had no idea what to say in that interview. It's kind of weird because it seems like really cut and dry. Just don't ban a plant.
Yeah.
But then you have to go through this really weird chain of bureaucracy and we need now thousands and thousands of people to write to people and say that they should be able to use this natural plant instead of going on pills. And it's just absurd.
Right.
Like, I don't even know. It's
Well, and also you're not allowed to tell people that the plant is helpful to avoid taking pills.
yeah. The whole thing is
Because
just
we didn't say you could.
so fucking frustrating. It really, it's one of those things that just makes you like check out and become a prepper,
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're all just
We've
one
been there.
little tip away, I think.
Yeah.
A prepper? What do you mean prepper?
A prepper, somebody that just buys ammo and food and stuff like that.
And a lot of
and
kratom.
just gets ready for the collapse. Just fuck this.
Underground bunker.
They're all crazy in DC, I'm just gonna do
prep.
for me and mine.
Right.
Hey, Katie.
Hello.
Well, this couldn't have gone better.
Our other sister Katie's here.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. Should we talk about Al Franken?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Katie, what do you think?
Sure.
Do you know who Al Franken is?
Katie doesn't want to talk because she's convinced we're trying to prank her, and
Yeah, what is this?
that's going to be a theme, I guess, until the show is over and we don't prank her. But
We
she's
are
suspicious
really
because we
not
wanted her
planning.
on the show.
Yeah,
we're not-
that doesn't happen. Usually I just invite myself on the show. And today Andrea called me twice and told me to come to the show. And then Vinny called me once to tell me to come on the show. And then they burst into my apartment and said, "Why aren't you coming on the show?" You burst in.
Andrea, I think that it's safe to say we're not planning anything, are we?
No, I mean, I don't understand how much more casual I could possibly act.
Why don't you just
well, we'll see who's prepared for the prank.
Why don't you just let
And
your
it's-
guard down?
yeah, just lull yourself into a sense of comfort there, and everything should be just fine for you. What? What was that? Okay, Al Franken. He was accused of what? Rubbing on some gals, touching on some gals.
Inappropriate
Getting
sexual
handsy.
conduct. Yeah.
Yeah, forcing his tongue in a chick's mouth and then grabbing her boobies while she was asleep.
Oh,
Yowza.
Honk honk.
It's and there's that picture where
There's
he's
that-
like playing to the camera like,
Yeah, that was a bad thing to have out there after you've been accused of sexual harassment and assault and stuff. There's like a picture of you like, hey, I'm grabbing some tits. Like, he was never funny, was he? I don't know. I never thought
He
of him
was a
as funny.
comedian.
I read his book one time when I was a kid.
Lies and the lying liars that tell
Lies and the lying liars who tell them. And like, it was basically just him talking about Ann Coulter a lot and doing these really weak breakdowns and analysis of her book. Like, on page 38 in this paragraph, she says this, but that's crazy because of, like
Weird.
the whole thing was just very directed at Ann Coulter, and it was a terrible book. It wasn't funny, and it was boring as shit.
Yeah.
And it sucked dick.
All right. Well, so he's getting what's coming to him then.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, and then he became like an anti-gun senator and stuff, and he's kind of a douche and blah blah blah. And now he's resigning. Should we look at his resignation speech?
Months ago, I felt that we had entered an important moment in the history of this country. We were finally beginning to listen to women about the ways in which men's actions affect them. The moment was long overdue. I was excited for that conversation and hopeful that it would result in real change.
I've never had to wear ties, but I don't understand ties. Would you pick
Just overall.
Would you pick? Why did they always have such stupid looking ties? Like, does that go with this suit? You know? Does it?
Mm-hmm.
Ties are weird. Here's what I like about this is
would
the
never pick
recording.
that.
The ties are to hide the fucking crease in the fucking shirt. With
The buttons. Yeah, no, we know what a tie does.
You said I don't get ties.
I just don't get how they pick them. Like this, I would never. This would just look so stupid to me. I don't know.
The ties always look stupid, but
Right.
Yeah. I was going to say I really like how this recording makes his breath sound real pervy. He sounds like real like
What is this?
He's just sighing.
What's with this fucking giant lavalier?
Yeah, I was
mic, too?
just noticing that.
Like they're recording this straight to 78 or something. Like this is just the oldest lavalier mic in the world. I've never seen one that huge. I don't know if I just haven't noticed. Have you?
No, I haven't seen one like that. No.
And you're a professional.
Made life better for
what?
Women all across the country and in every part of our society. Then the conversation turned to me.
What is that smile? Why is he smiling?
Over the last few weeks,
Because
a number
he's slick.
of women have come forward to talk about how they felt my actions had affected them.
Way to talk around it. Like instead of saying they've accused me of doing shit things to them, it's like, they've come forward about how possibly they may have some memories which are not pleasant about things that may have happened between us.
Right.
Like just address it or don't.
I was shocked. I was upset. But in responding to their claims, I also wanted to be respectful of that broader conversation. Because all women deserve to be heard and their experiences taken seriously.
I'm sorry, this goes on for 11 minutes?
I was just looking at that.
We're not going to watch the whole 11
What could you
minutes.
possibly say for 11 minutes?
And he's doing that, like, hypnotic, like Obama speak.
Well, that's right.
Yeah,
it has to be.
I wasn't even listening. I was just
Yeah.
like, "Durr."
It has to be that long because it has to be sort of confusing and droning. And
Right.
you have to leave it thinking like,
Oh, he really put some thought into that.
Really cleared
I
that up
think.
for me, yeah.
Right, yeah. But I just want to get to the point that he announces his
I think that was the right
resignation
thing to do.
officially.
I also think it gave some people the false impression that I was admitting to doing things that, in fact, I haven't done. Some of the allegations against me are simply not true.
I can't ignore
Others I remember very differently. I said at the outset that the Ethics Committee was the right venue for these allegations to be heard and investigated.
Get to the fucking point, Jesus.
The government will take care of me.
That I was prepared to cooperate fully and that I was confident in the outcome.
Then why are you resigning, you
An
lying
important
faggot?
part of the conversation we've been having the last few months
Seriously.
has been about
I don't wanna
how
watch
men
this.
abuse their power.
Sucks.
It
sucks.
sucks.
He goes on to just deny it even more, though.
He basically, the part I was trying to get to was he says that he's resigning because he can't fight these allegations and properly do his job at the same time. It's just the biggest cop-out. It's the most common cop-out ever in Congress,
Well,
too.
he also throws some shade at Judge Roy Moore.
Oh.
Yeah, where's that part? That's got to be coming up here.
Coming up, yeah.
Privilege
But he-
to hurt
And
women.
El Presidente.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I am
yeah.
proud that during my time in the Senate, I
Not my
have
El
used
Presidente.
my power.
It is the classic congressperson thing, though, of I cannot serve
transparent.
the people in my district properly while fighting
Women
these
I work alongside
allegations unless I step down and avoid
there's been
these
a very-
And
allegations.
that's why I'm stepping down.
And it gets out of the news eventually.
But I know who I really am.
Sure.
He was a celebrity outside of
Serving
this,
in the
though,
United
so.
States Senate
Yeah.
has been the great honor of
That's the
my
only
life.
reason he's a senator.
Right,
He's kind
I
of an
just mean
idiot.
it might
know
not
in my
go
heart
away
that
if he gets out of the
nothing I
Senate,
have
because he's
done
still a relevant person, I guess.
Right.
Well, he was before he was a senator.
What the fuck does he say about the...
Nevertheless, today I am announcing
There it is.
that in the coming weeks,
Okay.
I will be resigning as a member of the United States Senate.
Yeah.
I, of all
that.
people, am aware that there is some irony
There it is.
in the fact that I am leaving while a man who has bragged on tape about his history of sexual assault sits in the Oval Office, and a man who has repeatedly preyed on young girls campaigns for the Senate with the full support of his party.
Bunch of cacholes!
But this decision is not about me. It's about the people of Minnesota. It's become clear that I can't both pursue the Ethics Committee process and at the
There it
same
is.
time remain an effective senator for them. Let me be clear.
How is he? He's
I may
turned
be
his page like
resigning my
6
seat,
times.
but
How
I
big
am
is the
not
writing
giving
on
up
those
my
pages?
I will
He is not
continue
been
to
talking very
stand up
long.
for the things
He
I
takes out his
believe in
phone.
as
He's got
a
one of those
citizen
giant
and as
phones
a
with the huge numbers for old people.
The Minnesotans deserve
Who is this?
who can focus with all her energy.
I'm trying to call my
on addressing the
granddaughter.
challenges they face every day. There is a big part of me that will always regret having to walk away from this job with so much
my
work
God.
left to be done.
Whatever.
But I have faith
you were gonna fix everything.
The fight continues, though.
Yeah.
The fight is for the birds.
Like that.
So there he is, quitting and still talking shit.
Going down swinging.
Going down
God
swinging, I
bless him.
guess. But I mean, what the hell is he supposed to do now?
Probably write more terrible books, be irrelevant for another 10 years, and then fucking die.
Rerun for Senate.
Yeah, maybe, or just like die
straight for
slowly of some
president.
strange disease in
Yeah.
Florida.
All right, yeah.
He'll return to comedy.
There we go.
That would be pretty hilarious. That would be
Comedy
good material
loves
for us
rapists.
if he tried again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of those just one of those people from back in those days of SNL that was just you don't even remember. It just
He was
like
the guy that was like,
he had nothing memorable.
I'm smart, I'm funny, and gosh darn it, people like me. Was that him? Or was that somebody else?
No, I don't
I'm
think so.
wrong.
Was that not
Okay.
him?
There's some other guy.
Yeah,
that was him.
I have no idea. But this was wait, I'll pull up. Oh, he did Weekend Update
Yeah.
on SNL back then. Whoops,
So
commercial.
whatever.
Sorry. Give this
Yeah.
a second. Unlocks with your face. What does that mean?
Ew. It means you show it your face.
It's you probably uses
Oh,
your
that's the
eyes.
facial recognition
Yeah.
software. Why are people so retarded? There used to be national conversations about this stuff, like that. You know that maybe we should be cautious about how much of our personal information we give away and how much of it is available and what we do and blah blah blah. Now it's just like, oh, cool, like the cops can unlock your phone with your face.
Yeah.
And so can anyone else. Yeah, dude, you're an idiot if you have that. Like,
yeah,
that's
and
just-
also it's creating a database of your face in a facial recognition software.
Yeah, just ask Jim Carrey.
Yeah, did
He'll
he
tell you all about
Did
it.
he say that?
Yeah, he was saying stuff like that. The new iPhone is the Illuminati's way of more mind control and everything through the devices.
Yeah, well, obviously it is, right?
Are we sure he really said that? Because I saw a thing recently where it was just like a fake thing that he said said a bunch of weird stuff about the Illuminati.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, maybe.
I didn't think
It's
it was
just
real.
something that I heard. I
Did
don't
you
know.
see it on Neon Nettle?
I didn't see it
Neon
anywhere.
Noodle?
Someone told me about it.
Neon Noodle. Remember that?
Yeah.
What was that? The gangster in Looney Tunes?
Neon Duck
Noodle.
Tracy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He was one of the bad guys, right?
Yeah.
They were like
Neon Noodle was one of
Noodle.
the. He did peekaboo with Duck Tracy.
All right, let's check out Al Franken on Weekend Update.
Staff and of course
See if he was
himself.
any good.
His former Weekend Update correspondent.
I'll guarantee you he's no Norm Macdonald.
No.
Tell you that right now.
Who is?
When was this? Late 70s? Early
Hi,
80s?
Chevy, it's
Later?
nice to see someone else from the old show.
Huh?
You know, most of you probably know me, Al Franken, from the Al
Why is that
Franken
funny?
Decade Reports I did last year, or from the Franken and Davis shows that my
He's got a
partner,
smaller
Tom
lavalier
Davis
now.
and I
This
did
sucks.
over the 5 years
Yeah,
of the
really.
original Saturday Night Live. Now, during the past 6 months, I have suffered countless instances of personal embarrassment from people coming up to me, Al Franken, and saying, "Hey, Al
I don't get why
Franken,
that's funny.
Are you still writing for the show?" Or Al Franken, how's the show going?
What
Well,
in
I'm here
God's
tonight
holy name
to
are you
set the
blathering
record
about?
straight. I am not involved in any
Are you
way
embarrassed that your children
with
will
the
read about
new
this one day?
Saturday Night Live.
Is this a thing?
What the fuck was this?
Now,
I
there's
don't
been a
know.
lot of
Yo, this is
articles
insane.
on how
It's not
Saturday night
funny.
fell apart.
It doesn't even make sense.
Here's one in this week's TV Guide. I see, and it's a pretty good one. It's okay anyway. I don't know if you can see that, but the real story
What is
has
happening?
never fully been told until tonight.
I
And you
don't
can
know.
believe it
because it's coming
Kind of
from me.
mesmerized.
Yeah, he's
Al
doing
Franken.
like the
You see, Lorne Michaels, the
Hypno-speak.
producer of Saturday
Yeah.
Night, decided
Even
after
on
last
this.
season
Neurolinguistic.
And why do
time to
people
go
keep
on to
laughing at his
different
name?
things.
I don't know.
He figured the
Like
first
that's actually
season
his name, right?
had been great.
Saturday Night Live has always sucked.
Then
That's what I always say.
Chevy
Yeah,
left,
it's terrible.
and the show, of course, got even better. Then,
Okay,
then
that's
after the fourth,
one joke per 5
Danny and
minutes.
Johnny.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Like,
Now then,
Perfect. That's
then
what you
we
want for
missed.
sketch comedy.
right.
So after 5 golden years,
Give time to develop the characters.
Lorne decided to leave, and so did those close to him.
I don't think I can even do
including
this.
me.
No, get it out of here.
Al
This
Franken.
is terrible. This has gone on way too long.
Now he needs to clean himself up.
Yeah, he does. Thank you. It's disgusting.
What happened with Corey Feldman?
They
Jerk
found
off?
okay. Remember
Jerk off.
a few weeks ago he was on Dr. Oz and he was talking about he named his abuser
Yeah, right.
John
right.
Grissom.
Right.
The author?
No, Grissom.
The Muppet
Yeah, there you go.
or the McDonald's thing.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I was trying to help you out with a little laugh, though.
Who's John Grissom? Just some
he
guy?
was
or-
someone who acted with him when he was a young man in 2 movies.
What were you talking about with the McDonald's thing?
Grimace, I think.
Oh, okay.
That really? That was what you were.
You fuck.
That was great. Hamburglar. So he says that he went to the police in 1993 and filed reports, and like nothing was ever investigated. And originally, the sheriff's office of Santa Barbara. Thank you.
Yeah.
Originally, they said they did not have any record of Corey Feldman
I remember that. Yeah.
doing this. And
Everyone
that they
just
never
thinks this guy is
investigated it.
crazy.
They denied it. They had no records of him ever giving them information until in a container, which included the original reports from the investigation, the sheriff's office located some detective working copies of audio recordings made during the investigation. A copy of Mr. Feldman's interview was located.
Ooh.
So they were able to find the tapes of it. Corey Feldman is now in control of the tapes, they said. He has tweeted things along the lines of, here, I think I have his actual tweet here. Time to reopen that case, LAPD. I did report it within the statute, so now it should be admissible, right?
I don't think that's how that works.
Damn.
I don't know. I
watch
mean,
a
if
lot
they
of Law and Order.
if they find a reason to investigate now, they didn't. I mean, maybe the case went cold or they couldn't convict, but he was never charged. He might still be able to get charged with it.
No, there's a statute of limitations from the date that the crime occurs. You can't charge them, like, if the limitations are over, then you can't charge them. It doesn't have anything to do with if an investigation is opened or not.
On pedophilia, I don't know that there is.
Yeah, there is.
Wouldn't that be a state-by-state
Sexual
thing?
assault.
That seems weird.
The only ones that don't have a statute of limitations are murder and kidnapping. That's
Really?
it. Yeah.
And not pedophilia?
No. End of list. That's it.
Hmm.
Google it.
You do it,
No.
Andrea.
Yeah, I'm right.
Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office Public Information Officer Kelly Hoover told Fox News on Tuesday night that following the recent inquiries into the sheriff's office interview of Mr. Feldman, blah, 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 that we conducted an additional interview for any stored items remaining in from the Michael Jackson investigation. This was from the Michael Jackson investigation?
It was, I think that's how it got misplaced, was from being in conjunction with that.
A copy of Mr. Feldman's interview was located. The recording is being turned over to the Los Angeles Police Department. Due to the fact that this case involves the alleged sexual abuse of a child, we are unable to comment further, and any documentation or evidence related to this case is exempt from release. I wonder if it was like that investigation back then, you know, somehow led into, a ring of people or whatever that involved Corey Feldman. I don't know. Because he seems to idolize Michael Jackson. So it would be hard to believe that Michael Jackson molested Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
As tantalizing a thought as that may be.
Yeah. This says
Cool down over there.
in California. In California, the limit is basically until the victim is 28 years old.
Okay. So he's older than that.
He's older than that.
For sure.
Much older.
He could not pursue anything now.
Fox News had originally.
Why does
reached
that
out.
expire? Why is that a thing that?
Yeah, like we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you raped a kid, but too much time has passed. You're lucky.
You're obviously fine
you're
now.
a lucky guy. Yeah, you must have rehabilitated.
He's got to be over it by now. What's the point?
Right.
Fucking whiner.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Shut up, Corey Feldman, and go to work.
No, but who knows
Enough
what he
whining
can get
about
done
this
with
abuse.
this?
Huh?
Who knows what he can get done with this? I mean, it at least legitimizes his story. He's in control of the tapes. I'll bet he sells them and makes a shitload of money, or releases them in his own thing and gets attention. And
how old was Corey Feldman in 1993?
I don't know how old he was in 93.
And when he reported
Teenager,
it, that must
I
be
think.
when it happened, right?
Not necessarily.
Maybe a few years later, yeah.
And who was
But
the
maybe
guy
that's-
to him? He was worked on the.
He was a cohort. He was an actor in two
How
different
much older
movies.
was he?
I don't know, a lot.
But maybe
I'm
that's
just curious. I think.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
maybe that would matter if it's when he reported it. Does it? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, is it the statute
maybe
of
what would
limitations on on when you report it, or like, you know what I mean? If it was reported only a couple years later, maybe they can still do something about it.
Right,
Then,
that's what I'm
at
saying.
the time,
Yeah.
for sure.
No, now.
No.
Because
No?
because the statute of limitations is regarding charges, not
Compared to
Not reporting.
the date that the crime occurred.
right.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I'm rooting for him. I know we all are. Well, I have been for a long time, and like just more and more, the more he is in the public eye, and the more he talks about it, the less crazy he actually seems, and the less crazy they're going to be able to make him seem, especially after something like this,
Right.
where there's hard evidence of it happening and him talking about it when it happened, and still getting ignored. So.
Okay. What about this lady? What's her name? She was a
Daphne Carauna Galizia.
yeah. She was in Malta.
Yeah, she was Maltese.
Yeah, and she was a journalist. She was, I guess, one of the lead people on the Panama Papers story, which, of course, was basically the leak involving elite families from all over the world hiding their money in secret bank accounts in Panama. A lot of we didn't hear a ton about Americans actually, but a lot of Europeans.
Cleaner than that.
Yeah, a lot of Japanese, a lot of Indian families. A lot of countries where they're not allowed to take too much of their currency out of the country. You know, in India, what was it, like $20,000 that they were able to take with them if they want to leave the country, the equivalent of $20,000. And you know, a lot of those families are rich as fuck, and they're just shoveling everything into these secret bank accounts, you know, and then accessing them once they get to the United States. So, anyways, she's talking about the elite families in her area and stuff, and she ends up getting blown up in her car.
Like super car bombed.
Just a couple months ago, right?
Yeah.
And I guess now they've made a bunch of arrests.
10 people were arrested.
Right.
But they haven't released anybody's identity.
Is that right?
Yeah, not that I've been able to find. And she was such an enemy of the government. There have been some off-the-cuff remarks made about how perhaps those people won't be charged very harshly.
Right.
Or convicted very convictedly.
They're just lightly convicted.
But she was, I mean, she was an enemy. She was the people in charge of now punishing her murderers. She was an enemy of. So she was trying to do a justice for her country, and instead she's dead, and then her murderers are just going to wander around. No one's even going to know who they are.
There's 10 suspects. That's crazy. Do you think, I mean, because if they wanted like a patsy too, they would just get one guy.
It's
you know
messy.
what I mean?
They don't know what they're doing. They're small.
Yeah, they're not good at this yet.
Yeah. It's like the first time they've had to.
Yeah, who's Joseph Muscat? Is he the prime minister or no, whatever? She went after the prime minister. I know that.
Yeah.
That was like the family that she was going after the most and exposing the most as far as hiding their money and embezzling money and whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
Where is Malta?
Oh, you know.
Oh, look at the map. Can you find it?
we don't have a camera on the map anymore. I don't think. It's over there.
Malta.
What continent is it on?
I'll show you. Stupid. You don't even know where Malta is.
It's where Maltese dogs come from.
You're a real moron. You know that?
You don't know. You have to
yes, I
Google it.
do.
No,
I'm just gonna show you
the map.
where it is, though, because
there it is.
see,
there it is.
It's right there.
I
See
knew.
that?
I knew it was the Mediterranean.
Yes, of course, you idiot.
I knew. You guys didn't say it, but I knew it.
It's right there.
Oh.
It's there, yeah.
See? In
Yeah,
there.
nice.
Yeah, that's Malta. But honestly, I know nothing about Malta.
No, that's
What do
okay.
you ever need to know about Malta?
Their prime minister is corrupt.
Right. We have to learn a lot about Jerusalem first.
Yeah.
Anybody got any thoughts on Jerusalem?
Oh my God, I don't know how to think about Jerusalem.
Well, it's kind of exhausting. Oh, I have a hood on. It's kind of exhausting because either way anything ever happens, or what happens here. First of all
right, hold on. Donald Trump released a statement saying Jerusalem was now the capital of Israel.
And it goes back to like 95. They passed a bill. This is the weird. Israel's the weirdest shit in the way that we treat it. Going back to when it was founded in whatever it was, 48, 49. The Americans and the British government kind of ran the entire operation and then the whole thing, and they kind of set everything up. And to this day, the fact that Donald Trump recognizes Jerusalem as the official capital of Israel is a giant fucking deal to a lot of people for some reason.
Yeah, well,
they're talking about moving the embassy there.
Right,
but what I was going to
that's the
say
most important thing.
in 95, there was a ruling that had to do with this where they said, yes, we officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, and we can move our embassy there, but they just never have.
Well, part of it has to do with them trying to maintain this illusion of being sort of a neutral party in the whole conflict that's happening.
Oh, everybody knows, the United States is
very neutral.
We're totally neutral in the whole Israeli-Palestinian conversation.
Yeah. But lots of presidents have said in the past that Jerusalem is the capital, but it's the moving of the embassy that makes it a big deal to so many people because
Where
that's
is
like official.
Currently, the embassy located.
Tel Aviv.
Which is the unofficial capital.
Don't you know where Tel Aviv is?
Dude, it's such an exhausting situation. Like there was violence all over the place when Jerusalem was Arab controlled by like Jordan and Yasser Arafat was going on and all that stuff. There was violence there when it was Arab. There was violence there when it was Jewish. It's just always going to be. Isn't it more about land?
Violent,
Like they try to portray it as like this religious war going back thousands. It really isn't. I mean, it really is more about land, and I suspect it's a lot more political than religious.
And we watched a Ben Shapiro thing earlier that unfortunately he made a lot of good points regarding like historical artifacts. There are things like there are many locations that are considered sacred locations that are under Muslim control right now, and they won't allow Jewish people to visit these sacred religious places. But when they have Muslim sacred things in their control, they still let the Muslims come and pray there.
Right.
So he makes the argument that, like, yeah, it should belong to us because we're going to treat you better with this power than you would treat us with the same amount of power.
Sure.
History would indicate that, at least.
The whole thing is so weird. Like, Palestine isn't even recognized as a country by a lot of countries.
No.
And it's like, still, who cares? You got your country. It's just a country. But I think like only 135, 136 nations recognize it as a country.
Well, and it's also just like two islands inside of Israel.
Yeah.
It's one country, but it's two separate.
Well, it used to be giant. Before World War I, it was pretty much all of Israel, right?
Right.
And it slowly, I think in phases, was kind of chopped up and invaded further and blah, blah, blah. And at this point, they're pretty much down to a tiny, the strip.
Yeah.
And
the bank.
But you'll hear people say that years before it was Palestine, it was controlled by Jews and Christians, or that the map, was was like a Jewish state before that.
Well, what I've always heard was that it was pretty tolerant of most religions. Most of Palestine was pretty cool. There was like a Christian minority that sometimes got fucked with, but for the most part, Jews and Muslims in Palestine, I guess, got along pretty well for a long time. I don't know. That's what people from Palestine have told me. They're like, yeah, they blow it up a lot, but if you're in Palestine, people get along pretty well, you know?
With each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure there's whatever. I'm sure there's people that fucking hate Jews and Jews that hate Muslims. But, you know, I mean, mostly it's the governments, you know, of either. Probably just selling out their people and just causing a bunch of destruction.
Yeah.
This is what happens. Israel flies over, drops bombs, and then Palestinians fire missiles from the ground and throw rocks.
I mean, what possible effect could
Over and over.
Trump's move have except to just stir the pot? I mean,
It
what
just
could this
seems
possibly
like
be doing?
To me, it just seems like a big fuck you to the Arab world, sort of.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I don't know how else to view it.
Like,
what's
is
the
there
point?
anything about it other than just...
And the truth movement that still supports Donald Trump is going to have a hard time justifying his just historic alignment with Zionism.
It's weird.
You know, so this is there's no more question. There should be no more question in anyone's mind. Is he here to save us from the New World Order? No, he's not.
He got us all. He got you even.
Not me.
He got you.
When?
You thought he was an out of the box kind of guy.
Yeah, he did get you.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
I never said that.
He got you.
That didn't fucking happen.
I'll find the tapes.
All right, find it.
He got Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah,
he got.
that's true. I know, it's not like you voted.
I floated it as a possibility, but I never was sold.
Yeah, I think you kind of had the stance of, well, he might actually work, but he's probably just another.
Yeah.
Don't forget,
shill.
he's playing 4D chess.
Yeah, he's playing
4D.
There's many layers to this decision, and you know.
It wasn't a hard prediction to make. The president will probably be evil.
Yeah. No.
But yeah,
this guy,
I mean,
he's different.
I see it. It's just like a huge posturing move of aligning with Zionism and saying "fuck you" to the Arab world, which I don't give a fuck. They're gonna.
And so
do,
now
I mean,
they're like buying posters of Donald Trump and setting him on fire in Palestine.
Wow.
And then putting videos of it on the news.
No, that'll get.
They're sending the videos to Fox News.
And he's and Trump is
we watch
retweeting them like fucking. Look at the disrespect. This is why we made the move we did.
Yeah.
It was the right decision. Sad.
These animals.
Yeah, just fuck.
Sad.
Yeah, but you know, then okay, so this is how this country works, right? You get this guy just, you know, revving up like the liberals in this country and Muslims around the world and the whole Arab community and stuff. And then next, they bring in some crazily liberal guy who will like try to cater that to that world way too far, and then that'll make the right-wing sentiment in this country even more like frothing at the mouth against immigrants. It'll just
The pendulum is
Dude,
swinging further and
we're
further.
we're getting closer and closer to complete unrest. Yeah. Imagine one more like crazily liberal guy and then one more crazily right-wing guy, or not even right. They're not even really right-wing. They're so huge. You know, even the Republicans, they're called right-wing, but if you actually were to put them on a political spectrum, they're somewhere towards the middle as far as what they view the role of government to be. Like they're huge government guys compared to people who are really right-wing. You know.
Yeah.
So anyways, whatever. You get one more like crazy, socially conservative person and then another like crazily socially liberal person and blah 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 back and forth. What is it, maybe 2-3 more swings of that and we're fucking completely in the throes of a civil war or something? Or do we even have that long?
No, well, I don't know. I keep imagining like, you know, when you go on the Ring of Fire and you like swing back and forth and then eventually you're just upside down. How many times do you swing back and forth before you get upside down?
The Ring of Fire, like everyone knows what that is.
Is that not a thing that everyone has?
I don't think so.
Carnival ride.
Yeah.
That goes in a circle.
Here, I'm getting a picture of it.
It's a roller coaster on one circular track.
Yeah, and you just go around and around, and that's a terrible ride, by the way.
Yeah.
I hated that fucking thing. I did it once or twice as a kid.
I'll ride the shit out of
It
that.
never
to
felt
this day.
safe to me.
Well, a girl died. Oh no, that was the
that was
kamikaze.
kamikaze, yeah.
That's right. A girl died at the local fest in our town. Let me find that thing too.
That. What's a kamikaze?
She wiggled out of her vest and was thrown out of her cage.
Was she retarded?
Oh.
Yeah, she was.
This is the kamikaze
Yeah, there it
ride.
is.
This is what it looked like. I don't think this is the
They call
exact
this
one.
the ringer.
But those things just go around, and yeah, she like wiggled out of her vest while she was up here, and supposedly she fell, and the thing fucking smacked her as she got back down to as she hit the bottom. The thing came back
tossed
down
her
and
back
fucking
up. Yeah.
smashed her.
That happened when we were kids, or
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's why they didn't have that ride for a few years.
But yeah, the
So anyway, yeah, that's how I'm imagining things in my brain.
what in this country?
Yeah, we're just swinging towards the total upside down chaos.
So that's how fucking that's how temperamental that entire world is, and you're supposed to like take it really seriously too. Like the fact that there's adults all over that part of the world just losing their fucking minds because our president said that the city belongs to Israel. Like, I mean, I suppose
he is an important reality star.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose it could mean policy that affects them in a way, if the U.S. starts supporting like, a military action in Jerusalem against Palestinians and stuff like that. I don't know.
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. No, because we're still neutral.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
This was a lateral move.
Right. We're just good at compromise.
Yeah.
That's all.
So, Israel and Palestine have a very active war going on. Palestine recently fired rockets into a fucking kindergarten in Israel.
Yeah.
Nobody was hurt, thank God. Or Allah or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they fired 3 rockets just like from the ground towards Israel, and one hit a car and one hit a kindergarten and one got intercepted before it hit in.
That's what I mean. Like, you try.
No one was hurt. No.
Can you even take a side on this shit at this point?
It's it's just so like.
The Palestinian Authority has done a lot of crazy shit. Israel is constantly doing crazy shit. I mean, I don't know how many videos I've seen of like Israeli soldiers like harassing Palestinian kids and fucking taking their bikes and shit. It's just like the whole thing, and killing people, and
Yeah,
that
there's
too.
a lot of that. Yeah.
Can you believe they're taking bikes?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's just I don't know who to fucking side with at this point. It's hard not to side with Palestine because their whole shit. They're not even recognized as a country, even though they were around for a long time and pretty well established. I don't really know when at first, but they were in the late 1800s, a pretty powerful country, I think.
Some countries reckon it. We saw it's like 135 countries recognize them as an official.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, how ridiculous it is that half the world doesn't.
Yeah.
And
well, if you type Palestine in on Google Maps, it like doesn't really understand what to show you.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I tried that earlier.
So Google recognizes Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
Yeah.
Of course.
What does it show you if you type?
It just shows you Israel, and then it
Jerusalem.
has dotted lines inside of Israel, kind of denoting where the Gaza Strip and the West Bank are, but it doesn't say Palestine. It's not labeled anywhere. If I even like typed Palestine and it didn't even give me like here it is. It just like kind of went to that general area of the map. It was weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What does this world map that's hanging on the wall say about Israel and Palestine?
Well, we don't know what year this is from.
This doesn't really say very much to us.
Yeah, this thing is possibly from the mid 90s. I'm not sure. Yeah, because it's got it has a. Is Yugoslavia on there?
It looks like it's Russia. Looks like it's part of Russia.
Okay, that can't be true.
No.
Who knows what this map is up to?
No, this map is definitely kind of newer, actually, because it says Democratic Republic of Congo instead of Zaire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that was early 90s, wasn't it?
No, late 90s or early 2000s for sure.
Oh. What
It
about
can't be new.
Rwanda? It
still
says Rwanda.
It still has that racial slur right in the middle of Africa.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they've removed that by now.
Chad. You white boys, you're such a Chad.
That's vulgar right there. I think we should actually probably cover that up for future broadcasts.
Yeah, just blur it out in this one.
So okay, yeah, Judy Garland.
Oh my God,
this
what's
is so
she
good.
doing?
This is the best.
She's in blackface.
Oh boy!
Does everybody know about this?
Yay!
Judy Garland's blackface video.
Swing low,
Hold on.
sweet chariots.
What?
This was a long time ago.
She's too old to be dressed like that, and also to be dressed like that.
How mean they were back then.
Oh my
This is what it meant to be
God.
black. Like their fucking stocking is uneven and shit. You got terrible like poor person clothes on.
Clown lips.
Oh, I come from the south, from way down south, where the corn and potatoes used to
The corn
grow. There's
and
great big
potatoes.
elegant picture show, and my old Kentucky home is a French chateau, way down south in Dixie, sweet Lord.
Hey, I think we got something there.
I'm sure we have.
Carry me, oh.
Say, we can exploit this darky for a few months.
Why does she look so uncomfortable? Like she's got something on under that dress?
It's some weird that the way that they portrayed black people at the time, all jittery and like crackheadish, I guess. I don't know.
Uncomfortable in their own bodies?
Come on,
The
come
black
on,
bodies.
come on, carry me home.
What was with the lips too? Like,
have you ever seen a person who looked like that?
No.
Is she supposed to be a performer in blackface, or is she supposed to be a black person? Because
no, she's supposed to be trying to trick them, I think.
Yeah.
As you'll see. Yeah. Have you seen this movie?
Uh-huh.
You have?
I watched it with you like 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, she even did her arms.
Let me speak. Don't
Yeah, and her
know
legs.
the only river is the dried up creek. Come on,
She's rapping.
carry me.
It's a pretty good wig, though. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, well, that's the only way I've ever seen black people wear their hair.
Right.
Enrico, that's a good stuff. Huh?
Fat
Is that an
moron.
Italian?
I guess.
Where are you from?
This is the best. Hold on.
I hitchhiked from Memphis, sir. See, I fumbled out my thumb.
You did, eh? What's your name?
Opal Pearl Washington. And I'm one of twins. Yeah, Emerald Ruby passed on, but my mammy didn't mind so much because we got 12 others.
Oh, mammy.
All twins. My mammy's from Alabama and my pappy's from Louisiana.
They are they? Well, miss, you're going back to your mammy and your pappy and the 12 twins.
What? Oh, no.
What?
Watch.
So what do you do? Can't you see it's Judy?
No,
Mr. Judy.
We're not falling for this.
Hey.
That's fucking awesome. She was actually trying to fool them, and he was too savvy for it.
Yeah.
He's like,
I can't believe he saw through that disguise.
off again. I want to stay and be in your show.
Oh, no. If they find you here, they'll blame me.
No, but I fixed it all up so they won't.
You're going home and pronto.
Please don't make me. I can't go home.
is this before Wizard of Oz?
Stay.
No. There's no way she booked Wizard of Oz after this.
This was a publicity nightmare.
Oh, Judy, I've got to send you home. You must.
But anyways, yeah, I never knew about that.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Judy
What year
Garland's
was this?
blackface scene.
You know?
I don't know. Probably fucking 40s or something.
It's just so amazing that this is a thing that really is a thing. It's like something that never happened in my lifetime that I know of. Well, reverse blackface.
They still do blackface in one of the ass countries, Sweden or Switzerland, around Christmas time because they have a
yeah, we've seen that. Yeah.
blackface Christmas.
I've seen it
elf.
on The Office. Yeah.
They do?
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know he's like the opposite Santa, and he like.
Well, they
brings-
have Krampus.
It's not Krampus. It's like Saint somebody.
Well, he had
Saint Blackface.
Krampus had like an assistant who was a blackface boy.
Was he really?
Yeah, and he wore like fancy. Well, according to The Office, and he wore like a fancy outfit. What's his name? He had a hilarious
This one is
name.
Santa's assistant, and he. He like
Oh, I'm sorry,
punishes-
not Krampus, Belschnickel.
Who
was like, this is traditional.
Shroot. This is all made
This is
up.
Shroot,
That's all
yeah.
Shroot folklore.
I think Belschnickel is a real thing,
I
and
thought
the
we were talking about
blackface
something
is a real
real.
thing.
The blackface guy in one of the
What the
Sweden,
fuck?
I think.
I got another one. This is like one of Darcy's favorite videos. This is from later, and this is, I'm pretty sure, was like a pretty risky. Like, blackface was already way unacceptable. I'm pretty sure at this point.
No, it's color now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, colored face.
Yeah,
was,
there you
go. Sorry, African American face. He's performing an African American face.
Authority on the subject, and let him comment.
So this is Pat Paulson, the
Please welcome
comedian.
And former presidential candidate.
Oh yeah, he ran for office at one time too.
Pat Paulson.
How the old sets were. They tried to make them look like like theaters.
Oh my god.
Do you know how silent a crowd would be now if you
Yeah.
tried this? Like,
They'd
and
just
especially people on film would just be like, "Oh, I cannot laugh at this. This
Yeah.
will fucking ruin me."
Good evening. That's a laugh? Good evening. Tonight I'd like to talk about ethnic humor. I really think it's terrible what's happening in this country and the jokes they make about minorities. I'd like to give you some examples of this bigoted humor. For instance,
This is
a
actually
joke I
pretty
heard
funny.
recently about my Polish friends. Why are there two pallbearers at a Polish funeral? Because it only takes two men to carry a garbage can. That's terrible. You know what caused the California earthquake? They buried a Pollock and the earth rejected him.
I remember this being funnier.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
Well, I'm sick of these kind of jokes.
Belschnickel is real,
Jew
and
jokes.
so is his blackface assistant. That's a real thing. That's a
Jewish
Dutch
calendar,
Christmas
this is
tradition.
the year 5732.
I
The
believe in
Chinese
white
calendar,
supremacy.
This is the year 4732. That means for 1,000 years the Jews did their own shirts. I don't like these. Here's a better Jew joke. Guy walks into A.B.'s tailor shop and says, "I need a coat." A.B. says, "I got a good one. Nice coat, cheap. Here, put it on." Guy puts on the coat and says, "This coat smells. I can't buy this coat. It stinks. It's terrible. It smells rotten." A.B. says, "Buy the coat. The smell is me."
He just said Jews smell like shit. Jews stink. That was the whole joke.
There are black people in that audience laughing at this.
Oh yeah. No, it is funny to see this, how it was just not uptight. It was like people were just,
Yeah.
whatever, I'm here to see
look at the
comedy.
goof.
There was that idea still in society of just like, it's fine, it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's all right. Just joking around a little bit.
Nothing gets to be a joke anymore.
That's it.
Better known
It's
as
over.
Dago jokes.
Want to hear an Italian joke?
How can you tell an Italian bride at a wedding? Oh, she's the one with the braided armpits.
Kind of old jokes, right?
You know I have jokes.
I think we've done enough for tonight.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Can I just real quick?
What?
The blackface Christmas character, his name is Black Pete.
Black Pete. Yeah, that's it.
I don't care.
Literally his name. That's all.
Who cares about that?
I just like it.
Black Pete's for the birds.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye everybody. See you next time.
When male kids start to get busy, split it. Some sections swim in it. With the reckoning, recognize the butter, better, brethren, blessed. Like stretch, flex, strong fist, first sticks and stuff. Keep the reach so long.